Welcome back. Again, coronavirus times, trying to make the best of our times. One of the things I remember that Itay taught us is you train. You train. You train. There are no excuses. He told us that one of his instructors in Texas told him, if your arm hurts, you use your other arm. If both your arms hurt, you use your legs. Everything hurts, you come and you watch. You don't stay home. Because once you stay home, you get into the habit of not training. You're sick. Of course, today you can't do it with coronavirus, but you're sick. You come to class and you watch. There's no nonsense. We learned early on that complaining didn't do any good whatsoever. Sometimes I'd come to class and they'd say, "Oh, Itay, my right knee hurts." And he would say, "Oh, so that means your left leg is good. Great. Today you'll be fighting Vladimir." Or I'd say, "My right shoulder hurts." "Good. So your left is good." Whatever it was, no sympathy for you're not feeling good. You train. You work hard. Once I started my training, that became my priority. Not my job, not work. I shifted from different jobs, but I never took a job that conflicted with my training. There was a time I was looking for a new job and I explained, I need to be at the dojo by 5 o'clock, period. Can't do it, so I won't have the job. I worked for a while washing dishes because that fit in with my schedule. And sometimes it was a catering hall, sometimes it'd be an event, and I explained to them, I go to class, I come back, I'll finish washing the dishes later. But we worked hard over there. Just one quick story from this place. It was called Beit Mandes, where I worked, and I had 2 degrees. I have a degree in business, a degree in economics, a degree in political science, and I worked washing dishes. You do what you can. You got to work. And one day a new guy came in, and we're there, a bunch of guys washing dishes, and we asked this guy, "So, what's your degree in?" And most of us had degrees in practical things. He said, "I have a degree in philosophy." "Well, that's terrific. And what's your master's in? What's your doctorate in?" "I don't have a master's." He said, "What? You want to wash dishes with us?" This guy has a doctorate in psychology. This guy has a doctorate in Roman literature. This guy has a 2nd degree in Roman philosophy, etc. You want to wash dishes with us? You're going to lower the level of conversation. But in any event, training came first. I would leave the kitchen, drive to the other part of Jerusalem, attend class, come back, black and blue, beaten up, fat lip, whatever, and finish my job in the kitchen until about midnight and go home and feel good. You want to progress? That's what you do. That's what you do. That's what came first. I remember Itay had a no-nonsense attitude. There was one day we were sitting outside of class and somebody pulls out a cigarette and says, "Hey, Itay, do you have a light?" Itay looked at him like, "Have you lost your mind?" He said, "You want to light a cigarette? Walk 1 kilometer away and you can light your cigarette. Don't light it over here." Love that attitude. You train, you take it seriously. One of the things I looked at in those days was to see people before and after the army. A lot of guys came at the age of 17. They wanted to prepare themselves for military service. They wanted to get into good shape. In Israel at this age, 16, 17, all the kids are trying to say, what am I going to be in the army? I want to be something good. I want to contribute. So people train hard to get into the better units. So a lot of guys came to Itay for training. And then they went to the army and came back after 3 years. Some of them were able to come back during a vacation. And I paid close attention. I looked at their skill level before they went to the army and their skill level after they came back. And I paid attention, started noticing what did they retain and what did they not retain. And this became a foundation of IKI later on. Everybody remembered the basic low kick. Everybody remembered the basic judo throws. Everybody remembered the basic knife defense. Beyond that, it was lost. So I said a technique that you could not do for a year or 2 years or 3, and it still was retained with you, that's a technique we keep in the curriculum. A technique that if you don't do for a few months, you forget, well, that's of little use. And that became part of the IKI mantra later on, which was that every technique must meet 3 criteria. It must be easy to learn, it must be easy to apply in many diverse situations, and it must be easy to remember. You could have a great technique, But if you forget it because you haven't trained every day, what's the point? You could have a great technique, but if it only works in this one specific situation, then what's the point? You could have a great technique, but if it takes too long to learn, what good is that either? So my philosophy has always been, if a reasonable person can't learn the technique in a reasonable amount of time, then we have no need for that technique. And this was all forged in those early years of looking and paying attention.